guys, thanks for joining me. A bit of a closer up video today, so I apologise for being right in your face, but I've not got one of those cameras that auto focuses, and I wanted you to see this foundation. It does mean that you will also see my horrible blemish that I'm trying to cover up, but what can I do? But I'm going to rave about this foundation, so I just wanted you to get an idea of what it looks like on the skin, and yeah, that should help you hopefully. So what I'm talking about is the 17 foundation called Stay Time, up to 25-hour foundation, and it is also an SPF 25 and it's full cover. I heard about this foundation from one of my lovely viewers. She'd just left in a comment that she'd tried this foundation and loved it and said that it was full coverage, and I thought, you know, it's been a long time since I've tried a full coverage foundation, because I'm very nervous about full coverage foundations because of my age. You know, I'm 41 and I've got lines around my eyes. Even though I have my Botox, I've still got some lines around there that they can't get to. I've got lines sort of nose to mouth, etc. So I don't want it to look cakey, I don't want it to sit in my lines, and quite often it can with a full coverage, I was going to say conditioner there, but foundation. The great thing about this, when it was mentioned though, is that it's so inexpensive, and I thought, I haven't really ever tried any inexpensive foundation like 17 or anything, so I'm going to give it a go. Not only that, they had a 3 for £10 offer on, which is just amazing. They've still got that on in Boots. I would definitely recommend going and checking out the stuff from 17, because you may have seen in my haul that I've just done, or hopefully uploaded, I might upload this first actually, but in a haul that's either done or coming, I've got the 2 other items. What I got was this, the liquid eyeliner and a lipstick, and the 3 items would have cost I think £16, but you get 3 for £10, that's the offer on. And in fact that meant that the 2 items I was going to originally buy were more expensive than buying 3 items. So really, really good deal. So you can either get 3 items for £10, or you can buy this foundation on its own. I think it was £5.99. So really, really good price for a foundation. The next thing to say is that it really is full coverage, super full coverage. So I used it this morning with a buffing brush from Real Techniques. I haven't got it in here, but it's something like that, except that it's flat. So quite a big, soft brush. And I put the tiniest little bit, I'll show you how much. Actually, that's more than I used probably, but about that much I put onto the brush, and that did 1/2 of my face. Like, oh, and normally I put 1 dot and do here, and maybe a little bit on my chin, another on my forehead, another on here, and then maybe 1 on my chin. But that did, like I said, it was actually a little bit less than that. But that did 1 side of my face, then another pump did the whole other side of my face. So that pump I did there probably would have done the whole of my face. The minute you put it on, you can see that it's covering any kind of blemishes you've got, or any redness, anything you want to cover up is kind of gone with this, which is great. I'll show you what that looks like there. You can see that it's quite thick. This colour is in Natural, but it feels kind of creamy when it goes on, but only for a couple of seconds, and you have to work very, very fast to blend this in, because it does dry very quickly. So if you are not used to wearing foundation, I would suggest using very small amounts and working on smaller areas, because like I said, it does dry very, very quickly, and you've got to blend it really, really quickly. Something that will help that will be a brush like this, which is the Real Techniques Expert Face Brush, or the one that I use, which is the the Real Techniques Buffing Brush, or the Real Techniques, what's this one called? Contour Brush. I wonder if a brush like this, a typical kind of foundation brush, might actually make it a little bit streaky. I think it would probably be okay with fingers as well though, but like I said, you just have to work really, really fast. So yeah, it dries perfectly. You don't necessarily need a powder on top if you're not somebody that loves powders. It's a lovely matte finish, but it's not like a matte. It really doesn't look too cakey, which I absolutely love. I did put a powder on top of it, but I made sure that it was a very, very light powder that I used, and that I only used a light touch with it. You know, I didn't use a powder puff or anything. I think you should use a brush to just lightly sort of dust over if you do want to set it. So that was how it went on. The colours were a little bit difficult for me, because I first went and looked at it in a smaller Boots. That's where I got it from, Boots, and then later on went to a bigger Boots because I decided I loved it and wanted something that was more my colour. The colour I'm wearing today is Natural, And I put my fake tan on last night, so this is actually a good colour for me when I've got my fake tan on. But normally I would buy a foundation in, say it starts at number 1 and there's about 10 in it. I would normally buy either the colour number 1 or colour number 2, and very, very rarely number 3. This one I think is about number 4, which is really unusual for me, but that was kind of a mistake. It was because I was in that smaller boots, and the only 2 that were out were Fair, which is the first colour, and then Natural. And I just assumed this was the second one down. They were kind of the only ones there. So Fair was way too white for me, way too light. So I thought, well, that's not going to work, so I'll try this, even though it did look a little bit dark. And like I said, today when I've got my fake tan on, it's fine. It might work okay tomorrow when my tan's faded ever so slightly, but still there. I will try it out. And then I went to a bigger boots because I decided I wanted to get the lighter colour, or a colour that was more suited to my skin, or I was going to see if I could maybe mix them. I had a look at the 2 colours in between, so I think it's Fair and then Porcelain, and then I don't know the name of the third one, but there's another one before Natural. Fair is a sort of neutral to yellow base, and then Porcelain, which is number 2, is more of a pink base, and I don't like pink based foundations, so it would have been too light for me and a little bit too pink for me. The number 3 one unfortunately wasn't, I can't remember why, but it just didn't suit my skin. I don't know whether it was too orangey or maybe too pinky, but it didn't work for me. And I considered buying the Fair to mix with this, but do you remember how I said that it's very, very quick drying? I don't think it would work because you'd have to put a pump of one, then a pump of the other, mix it together, get it, you know, I'm not sure that that would work. It might do, and I'm still considering going and getting that Fair one, and even maybe using the Fair one at the stage where, like, if I've not had time to do my fake tan and it's really worn off, I probably could get away with that one and then just sort of warm up my face, because that's how much I love it. I just think it's an amazing foundation. So that's the kind of colour range. The other things to tell you about it is it's an SPF 25, which I think is really, really good. Even in the winter, you still need to have an SPF on. And obviously this is not going to last you all day, because SPFs don't last all day. They last like 6 hours. But it will last you as long as you are out and about, and it will give you some protection. So I think that that's a really, really good thing that it's got SPF 25 in it. That would normally worry me, that my skin was going to feel greasy with it on, because that is the usual feeling I get from high SPFs, from 25 or above. This doesn't feel like that at all. You wouldn't know unless you saw it on there that this had an SPF in it, because it feels completely matte and not greasy whatsoever. The other thing that I would tell you is it didn't make my skin feel too dry, because again, sometimes if you use a matte foundation, it can just feel like chalky and really, really dry throughout the day, and I didn't get that feeling from this at all day long. It still felt fine at the end of the day. The only thing that I would say is it says up to 25 hours, and I'm not sure how you would test that, because unless you put your makeup on at 6 o'clock in the morning and you don't take it off until the following morning. I suppose some people might do that, maybe go to work all day, then go on a night out and stay out all night. I certainly wouldn't do that at my age, but some people might do that. I won't be able to test that claim, but I put it on at about 6 o'clock in the morning, 5:30, 6 o'clock. And then when I looked at it at 6 o'clock that evening, so 12 hours later, it looked pretty much the same as when I put it on. The only small thing is if you touch your face, and when I say that because I had sort of done this, I had something on my head, like a piece of fluff or something, but it was a black, and I went like that, and you could actually see, you can even see it now where I've done it, where I'd wiped the foundation away. And I'm surprised at that, because it doesn't feel like it's oily enough for you to be able to do that, but I was pressing pretty hard. So you need to not be a person that's constantly wiping and touching your face in order for it to stay, but in that case it did stay. So like I said, I don't know whether it lives up to the 25-hour claim, but on me it was 12 hours. And the only other thing to tell you is that it doesn't feel like it's clogging my skin. Now, I've only been using it for, is it a week? Just under a week. And I have got a breakout, but that breakout is nothing to do with this, because it appeared before this. And one last thing that I love about it is the packaging, because it's in plastic packaging, which some people won't like. Some people will prefer a glass bottle just because of the you know, some people are concerned about plastics and hormones and things. However, what I like about it is it's lightweight, and that for me health-wise actually works better because I don't like having a heavy makeup bag. It's also great for traveling because it's not going to weigh it down and kind of, you know, be too heavy if you're trying to cram as much in for the weight that you're allowed on an airline. And the way that it opens is great because it's just so quick and easy. You literally just turn it like that, and that allows you to press the bottle down, and then to lock it you just turn it again. So it's just like that, that's all you do. So I think that that's fantastic. So I think I've told you everything about it. If you've got any questions at all, then please do leave them in the comments below and I'll do my very best to answer them. But I was just really excited to tell you guys about this because it's so good and it's so inexpensive, and for an inexpensive brand to impress me that much is unusual, because I have used 17 nail polishes, lipsticks, and I tried something else, I can't remember what, and I wasn't overly impressed because silly things like the lipsticks smelt really cheap. They were just like, had a sort of plasticine smell to them. I think I tried an eyeliner before that didn't work very well. The nail polishes were okay, but they took a couple of coats, but it was a while ago. The lipstick was the most recent one that I didn't like, so I'll be interested to see how I get on with the other lipstick. But this one really impressed me, so I thought I would tell you guys about it, and you can maybe go out and try it, especially while they've got this 3 for 10 offer on. So thank you so much for watching. Once again, my apologies for being so close to you, but I thought it would be nice for you to kind of get an idea of what the foundation looks like on my skin. And for those of you that haven't figured it out by now, I've got very oily skin, and at the moment it's kind of normal to oily because my drugs are kicking in, and so it's starting to stop being so crazy oily. So thanks very much for watching. I hope that was useful to you, and I will see you again soon.